And so when we measure these things on routine blood tests, like a lipid panel, as I mentioned, you'll get a test result that shows you a HDL cholesterol, the amount of cholesterol being carried on HDL lipoproteins, then LDL cholesterol, the amount of cholesterol being carried on LDL lipoproteins. You'll get a triglyceride measurement, total cholesterol, et cetera. And so that's something that your doctor will look at, you might look at and try to interpret. And off of that standard lipid panel, the best correlate for your risk, insofar as that is your kind of chronic level of exposure to these lipoproteins, is to take the total cholesterol measurement and to subtract the HDL number out of it. And by doing that, you get a marker called non-HDL cholesterol. There are more advanced, fancier measurements that we can do. Some folks who have been listening to us for a while may have heard of things like an ApoB measurement, which is also another way to get at a similar kind of risk variable here as it relates to cardiovascular disease. And so fundamentally, the total amount of exposure that your cardiovascular system has to these particular lipoproteins, these ones that have ApoB on them, the ones that we can approximate by doing that simple calculation of total cholesterol minus HDL cholesterol. The total amount of exposure that your body sees to that in the blood over the course of your lifetime is one of the strongest kind of predictors of your heart disease risk. Again, other things can augment that risk further if you have long-term high blood pressure, if you have long-term diabetes and high blood sugar, if you smoke. All of these things can augment, further increase your risk, or if those look like they're in good shape and you don't smoke, can serve to mitigate your risk. And so this is one of the kind of core set of risk factors relating to cardiovascular disease. So the consequence, the logical result of this is that insofar as we want to manage this risk factor as strongly as we can, you would want that non-HDL cholesterol, or that ApoB measurement, to be, you would prefer it to be lower rather than higher, and you would prefer it to stay low for longer across your lifespan. That's the simplest distillation that I can give of this. There are few situations where I can say that I really recommend this person achieve a higher ApoB level or a higher non-HDL cholesterol measurement. And there may be some who are listening who have heard some evidence, or who might knee jerk and say, well, I read this study that shows that people with higher LDL levels, or things like that, live longer. And that's a misinterpretation of that literature. I won't go into the great detail on that here. We have an excellent article on cholesterol on our website that actually specifically talks about that topic and lays out the evidence for anyone whose mind is actually open to potentially changing on that topic.